Not to be a big thing, but I'm pretty happy that car camping at Coachella has been a disaster because I couldn't go. So if I can't have fun, neither can you.
Okay, what is up guys? Today I'm filming a commentary video. If you're new, subscribe, like this video, comment, check out my other videos if you haven't already, check out my shorts, all that good stuff. Everything is linked down below. If you're into like commentary videos, it is in the playlist on my channel. It's called Commentary, so you can binge watch it if you're bored. Check out my podcast, Pretty Open Minded, on Spotify and on YouTube. Listen to them, it helps me out a lot. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And yeah, my hair is very flat right now because it's still wet from this morning. Yeah, it's kind of bothering me because it looks very, it's giving lopsided. Today we're gonna be talking about Coachella, and I know Coachella just like ended like a week ago, last weekend, but I still want to talk about it because a lot of people were like posting about it and talking about it and showing their experiences on what it was like. But like Coachella is like extremely dystopian because you get to see the influencer side and then you get to see like the non-influencer side, and you could see like the huge differences because like the influencers are always flown out by brands and they're getting paid like apparently boatloads of money to be out there. And then when you had like the regular smuggler joes like me and they're attending, they're like not in a real hotel, because I know like the hotels and the Airbnbs rise, the prices rise probably around that time because it's not really around spring break, but like everyone knows that like Coachella is like a really big thing. It's been going on since the late 90s, so it's always been a big thing for over 20 years. But like the influencers, they see them in a room with AC, all that stuff, and them showing off like their gadgets and who flew them out there. It's just so crazy to see, honestly. But I think this is probably one of the first times I've personally seen people actually show like the awkward sides and the uncomfortable sides of being at Coachella. I was like 14. I wanted to be at Coachella because it had my favorite artist at the time there. It was like a huge thing in the 2010s. I don't feel like it's as popular as it used to be. That's kind of why I'm making this video, is because I feel like it's kind of dying out because of a lot of different things. I feel like it's because of the pricing, it's because of the how it's basically just an influencer event. It's not really for like people actually going to the concert. It became such like a celebrity influencer thing. Like people were mostly videotaping. I feel like I saw more people videotaping the celebrities that were there and the influencers that were there instead of the actual people that were performing there, which was kind of crazy. There's one influencer, I don't know if you could call her that, like a content creator. I think her username was like Divinity, and I think that's what made a lot of us watch her videos, because she was one of the few creators that showed like how uncomfortable it is to be at Coachella.
First meal at Coachella, day one. I'm having a tuna sandwich with pepper jack cheese and romaine lettuce and some barbecue lace. At Coachella, they have strawberry sandwiches. I see a lot of people eat them from Tokyo, but the bread is Japanese white bread. I've been wanting to try it for like 2 or 3 years now, and they have a little like pop-up, so I'm gonna try literally every flavor. The food is overpriced here, but it's all good food. And we actually haven't really spent money here. I think the only thing we've spent on is we went to Ralph's and we got some like ice, and I got a fruit bowl. I had a slice of pizza. I think that was like $13. Even with the little amount of food that we brought, it lasted us.
You're just a regular person that isn't like popping like that. Like no one is forcing you to go. Like these people like complain about it, but they're choosing to go and spending all this money. Like a VIP ticket is like $1,200, and like for an influencer it's like it comes free basically. So I'm like, if I were to go, it would have to be an influencer thing. Like a brand would have to like fly me out, because I would never pay those type of prices with my hard-earned money, because it just seems it's not feasible for me personally. But she was talking about how uncomfortable it is. Like she was showing like pretty much the whole 3 days of her being at Coachella, how uncomfortable it was. And a lot of people tuned into it because she showed like her living space. Also, here's another thing. People were basically damn near doxing themselves when they were like showing their tents, because like it shows like every tent, everyone that camped out at Coachella has a different type of tent because they're bringing their actual belongings there. So if you have like a Hello Kitty blanket on the outside and then the next person has like a turtle on it, like a Ninja Turtles, like, and then you show like, oh, this is where I'm at, this is what lot I'm at, like people are gonna try to find you, and it's kind of weird. Personally, I wouldn't do that because I just feel like it makes you kind of vulnerable, but people just don't care about their safety anymore. But who am I to judge? But I just am very paranoid of people trying to like find where I'm at whenever I'm posting. I just feel like it's never that serious. Like, you don't have to do that. But I've watched so many tent tours, so many camping tours, and I think she was even one of those people that showed them. But personally, I would never go because like when you see her videos, you could see how pink she got and how like sunburned she started to get, because people said that like when you are at Coachella Valley, the temperatures rise up to like the 90s and the hundreds or something around there. So a lot of people there are not getting properly hydrated, and so a lot of people are fainting because they're not like properly hydrated. And then there's also people that are like traveling like from their hotel to the actual like festival grounds. Like people are walking miles and miles in the heat, and it just doesn't seem very fun when I look at it, because I've seen it on the influencer side and I've seen it on the non-influencer side. I've seen it from like Brian and Amanda and Bless's situation, and they were walking from their hotel, their Airbnb, to the actual festival place, and it looked very unbearable. And personally, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like if I were to be there, I don't even think I'd be dressing cute, because you know, it seems very strenuous, like very, like you have to, like there's a lot of walking involved, and I don't know how people have the time to look cute and have boots and heels on when you have to like walk so many miles just to get there. And it's also in the heat, and also like even though it's nighttime and stuff, like it still can get hot, and people like kind of forget that it's in the desert. And I feel like people forget this a lot, but it gets dusty. As someone that's lived in the desert, it gets dusty, and then like the heat is way worse if you live in the desert, and it's a lot more harsh. So you have to like really like take the time to really like protect yourself from the sun and the dust, because it can really get you. Like when I first moved here, sorry, my back is really itchy for some reason. I almost got a heat stroke because of how hot it was. So yeah, we moved here in the summer and it was like in the hundreds by the time we got here, and then it was like super duper unbearable. It wasn't something that I was used to, because I'm used to like the 80s, 90s, all that stuff, but like I don't think I've ever gone to a place that's gone to like 100. And this place gets up to like 108. I think the highest was like 108 or 109. It's kind of crazy to me, honestly, but it's very, very, very brutal. And I always see influencers like at their house, and they're always doing that IV thing. The first person I saw with that IV thing, like they have IVs pumped, like what is it called? They put IVs in them. The first person I saw do that at Coachella was Verena. When she was still kind of like popping. Right now she's like recovering from her motorcycle accident, and she would be the type of person that would always be attending Coachella. And when I saw that, I was like, I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy when people were drinking when it was like 100 degrees out, and they're like, you could tell that they're not properly hydrated and they're still like going and drinking, and I'm just like, looks like a recipe for disaster. Yeah, but there's also like a lot of long lines for a lot of things, perhaps one of them being there's a 6-hour wait for getting even into the camping ground. don't know why it was super long, but a lot of people were not able to like go to the bathroom and do anything but stay in their cars for those many hours, because I guess, I don't know if it was like a checkpoint or they had to like check if they have stuff on them. A lot of people were complaining about how long it was and how uncomfortable it was, and I'm just like, yeah, this is why I like to like stay back. And you know, I just, a lot of things just don't seem worth it. And then there was also an issue with the bathrooms. So there's like this place where you can shower, and there's a lot of people that were waiting in line early as like 6-7 in the morning to shower and brush their teeth, and you could see like the line wrapping around because people were, you know, trying to shower and stuff. What I heard was that the bathrooms, like the showers, were like, they have AC in it, and that was probably the only good thing. But there was also people complaining about how like there wasn't a place to put your belongings. Like if you brought like a cubby, like a little cubby thing, a shower caddy, whatever you want to call it, to put your soaps in, it would just kind of be swinging back and forth because there isn't like a place for it to stay. And then there was also someone saying, if I can remember correctly, there was a girl saying that there's people taking way too long in the shower. So that also took a lot of time too, because I guess people were taking like everything showers in there.
This is how you shower at Coachella. Okay, just finished. I'm gonna give the showers a 6 out of 10. They weren't the worst thing ever. Also, like, it was a hassle. The water pressure was so hard. Most of it was like a mist, and then there was one little area that was shooting just like a little straight shot. Then there's nothing to put your stuff, so you kind of have to just hang it everywhere. It's air conditioned, so there is wind blowing, so you have to kind of like hold the sides of the thing together, or else everything will be showing. But they're free.
Like holding up the line, and I'm just like, I don't think I would be able to do it. The shower pressure was apparently really bad. I think it was like too harsh or something, is what I've heard. And I'm just like, this doesn't even seem worth the $4,000 or $5,000 that y'all put into, because like it's a lot of complaining that people do. And I don't ever hear like the influencers complaining because they have everything already readily available for them, and they don't have to worry about getting dehydrated or being uncomfortable, because where they stay at is a lot of like Airbnbs and hotels, and they're comfortable there. I also heard that they don't even like stay there for the actual concerts. A lot of the times they just stay there to promote the brand that they're promoting. They take pictures and then they go back to their hotel. But I just feel like when it comes to Coachella, it has become like an influencer thing and not really like a thing to enjoy actual artists. And it kind of is annoying how much like influencers have taken over everything, because like as cool as it can be to see someone that you recognize, it kind of like is annoying, because for someone that can't afford Coachella, like you do want to see the performances. Like the people that I knew did perform there was like Missy Elliott, Lady Gaga. Like I couldn't even remember anything else, but I know that there was like only 2 people that I saw, but I barely saw their performances. Like it was mostly like just drama with just being at the Coachella festival. And people were even comparing it to Fire Festival, and I don't think I watched that documentary when it came out on Hulu a couple years ago, but it was a total shit show. Everyone was complaining about it, and it was like very, I think it was like unorganized or something like that. And let me see, I don't want to lie, I just remember one of the things being like super unorganized, and it was like kind of like a money grabbing thing. It wasn't really for like the people. Like they kind of just didn't plan it properly, and then like they just got everyone's money, and then they just kind of were like, well, I don't care about like the experience. But basically it was a yeah, it became infamous for catastrophic failure and fraud. Attendees paid exorbitant prices for promises of luxury, but instead they faced inadequate accommodations, including the FEMA tents. Oh yeah, they had tents over there. Poor food, like boxed cheese sandwiches, and lack basic necessities. The event's organizer, Billy McFarland, was later convicted of fraud and sentenced to prison. Apple's collapse led to lawsuits, documentaries, and a significant public outcry, turning it into a cautionary tale of overpromising and under-delivering. I could kind of see why people were comparing it to Coachella, because they kind of do treat the people that don't have a following like crap, because I feel like they should have more, like they should have a designated area that's like super shady, like have a huge tent for people that are camping outside in their cars instead of like out in the open. And I feel like they should have more showers available, and maybe they should like have a time thing, like you should only be in the shower for 10-15 minutes, and if you go over that you can pay a fee. Like, I feel like they should be more smart about it. I feel like after all these years you should know how things have definitely changed, and I feel like they should definitely go with that instead of just only accommodating the influencers all the time. Also, people complaining about the, what is it called, the overpriced food, because I've seen people post what's it called, like $31 worth of food, and it'll be like just wings, or if it will be a drink like a regular lemonade or something, and I'm like, how is this $31?
Chat, what happens when I spend $36 on 3 tacos? I spent 36, like, and it's barely even full. I asked for cheese, there's no queso. Let's really assess what's going on here. It's like, okay.
It would just be regular things like sushi or something, and I'm like, this is probably why people were bringing their own food.
This is the food that we brought to Coachella. We don't have a fridge, and I don't really want to bring things that go bad, but that's why these are handy. They don't have to stay cold. These are only $1.89 at Trader Joe's. Apples and peanut butter, sun-dried tomatoes. And then I love to make wraps with these, with the tuna, sun-dried tomatoes, and this, and then some cheese. You're good to go. And then obviously some peanut butter and jelly and mangoes.
Food, because it's outrageous. Like, I don't think I would be able to come to an event like that and pay for their food. And then a lot of people said it wasn't even tasting good. Like, it tasted cold, or they didn't have any flavor, and it just didn't sound fun, like a fun experience. Like, one of the cool things about festivals is that they always have good food, and for something as simple as like a taco, like, how do you mess up a taco? Like, I don't understand. Like, those are like one of the easiest things you can make, but somehow they still mess that up. And I'm just like, how does that even happen? Honestly, I think I would be complaining more if I was there versus like actually having fun, because who wants to spend all this money to be miserable? And I feel like that's what's happening with these people, because I just feel like this year alone, I feel like I heard more complaints about things that were actually like good happening, and I feel like it was just a lot of drama for no reason. Well, there are good reasons, but again, like, these people paid to be there. I also saw that when this all was happening, that there was a video saying that they had basically like a Klarna situation for Coachella tickets, because apparently, I guess since the pandemic, like the 2020s, the ticket sales have gone down drastically, probably because of the panorama, and plus the rising ticket sales. People are not able to afford it, so that's why a lot of people were ending up to, like, they ended up splitting the cost with like their partners or with their families or their friends just to go to this event, which is kind of crazy, but it still sounded very, very expensive even when they would talk about their portion, and I'm like, ugh.
How much does it cost for 2 people to go to Coachella? Let's break it down. I want to start off by saying that this is what I was okay with paying. It might be different for you, so just keep that in mind. First and foremost, you're going to need a ticket to get into the festival, which is around $1,100 for 2 wristbands, and I think it's about the same this year. Then, by far, the cheapest way for 2 people to stay at Coachella would be to car camp. Last year, it came out to $180 total for 2 people for all 4 nights. It's literally $18 a night. You're not going to find anything better than that. Then you have to physically get there. So for us, we only spent $28 on gas, but that's going to vary depending on how far away you live, what kind of car you have, etc. So far, the 3 things we talked about are things you're just not going to be able to get around. You need a ticket to get in, you need somewhere to sleep, and you need some way of getting there. So for us, that costed $1,308 $5 so far. But these next few categories are things that you can kind of start to skirt around or possibly cut back on. So because you decided to car camp, you are going to need supplies like a tent, blankets, a table, a cooler. All of this category is really going to depend on what you already have. So for us, we spent around $842 in this category, and this includes a lot. So I'm talking, this is stuff from Amazon, from Costco, from Walmart, from Dick's, from Trader Joe's, from CVS, anything and everything that we needed. We did in that $800, including a lot of food. Next is a category you can absolutely cut back on. As you can see here, we decided to splurge. So we spent around $544 on in-festival purchases. So I'm counting things like food you see here and merch that I'm wearing. I'm also counting groceries that we got from taking the shuttle bus. So these things are all very, very optional. So now for us, we've kind of covered tier 1 and tier 2, which is things you definitely need. And then supplies, that's gonna vary based on your situation. So far for us, we've spent $2,694, but there's still a few more very, very optional categories left. And that is going to be, you guessed it, clothes. So for us in this category, we spent $595. But again, that is just so totally optional. Now for me, the reason I'm okay spending this much is because I literally treat Coachella outfit shopping like school shopping. Like everything here I will wear a million times again. But going to Coachella the past few years, I've realized you don't need to go as hard as some of these influencers are seeing. The last thing we spent money on was our nails. We honestly do our nails ourselves year round, but Coachella is the one time we splurged for it. So we did spend $100 in that category. So that brings us to the grand total of $3,339 for 2 people to go to Coachella, or $1,670 each.
Because they're buying sprinters, they're paying for transportation, a lot that goes into it, not just going to the event itself, because you obviously need a place to sleep. My camera's dying. I find it kind of crazy that this was fully charged when I started this video and then it ended up dying. Like that kind of doesn't happen a lot, but anyways, but yeah, but personally, I like the influencers that were honest about their experiences there, because over the years, like, I was the type of person that watched like Tila Dunn and Remy and Laura DIY going to Coachella in the 2010s, because that was a big thing. And I used to be so envious of them, because I'm like, oh my god, like they definitely are rich going there, because I know that those tickets weren't cheap. And even with the recession, I'm like, they're not really that accommodating. I feel like if you do the payment plan for the Coachella tickets, like I feel like you're gonna be paying that off forever, because I'm just like, those were some really expensive tickets. Like it's not just, it's like a couple thousand, and it's just kind of insane to me that that's even a thing. That should have been a thing a long time ago. But I guess the ticket sales have gone drastically since 2023, and that was like the first time it's happened in 11 years, and it's probably because of the recession, and people just aren't feeling it anymore. They post like literally every little thing, and even if they like discover like a product or something, it's sold out, and it's just kind of not really fun. Like it's become more interesting to watch influencers' lives over celebrities, because they are willing to share more of their lives, I guess, and it's just kind of a new thing. And I think celebrity culture is kind of like dying out because of it, because I don't feel like people care as much. I mean, there is people that still care here and there, but I feel like I hear more about influencer drama that people do tend to stay tuned for. They're becoming kind of like celebrity status a lot of times, and you see them in commercials and you see them everywhere, because people care more about that than celebrities right now. I don't really know why, but it's like kind of a new thing. And I know like the people like the Kardashians do feel some type of way about it, because they were the it girls for like a really long time, and people aspired to be like them for a very long time. But even they're kind of dying out. Like no one is really tuning into them as much as they used to. Like for one, like not to be rude or anything, but they are getting older, and like people like to see young fresh faces a lot of the times. And since they're kind of like hitting that older mark, they're not as like cool as they used to be. Like when they were first coming out on the scene, when they were in their 20s, it was like a new thing, and then like it was kind of like a cool thing to kind of keep in touch with, like kind of cool to keep up with them, because they had shows and they were everywhere for a long time. But now people are kind of focusing more on influencers, and plus the newer generation, like people like North, people are focusing more on North than her parents. Like Kim is cool and all, but they're not as hot as they used to be, and I feel like they're in their flop era. I'm kind of glad that they don't really show the kids a lot, but people are more intrigued with people like Northwest. You can tell that she's definitely going to be something when she gets older, because she is very outgoing. She's into the music scene and she's into the fashion scene, so she's definitely going to be doing that. You know, she's kind of like mixture of both of her parents. Personally, it looked like a war zone when I was looking at it, and it's just kind of like something that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out. I don't feel like it's as worth it as I thought. Like, I'm glad I should have went. I honestly should have went when it was like cool in the 2010s, but like I wasn't popping on the internet like that to be able to afford it. Plus I don't have rich parents. Like, I was 14 when I wanted to go. Probably throughout high school I wanted to go, because that was when like Lana Del Rey was going, and it was kind of like cool, you know what I mean? It was kind of like the Tumblr era. So yeah, but that is pretty much all for this video. I didn't really touch on I mean, I feel like I touched on a lot of things, important things, but it was kind of a mess this year. But I wonder what next year is gonna bring, because I feel like it's gonna only get worse, because it's just been kind of like messy and unorganized over the years, and since the influencer is taking over, I feel like that takes up a lot of the experience for people. But I'm gonna end the video here. I know this is probably very short, I apologize, but yeah, I tried my best. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week with another video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my socials, everything's linked down below. I'll see you soon. Bye guys.